Welcome back to Principles of Management class. In the previous class, we are discussing about types of plans. In today's class, we'll learn about decision making. The definition for decision making is the act of choosing one alternative from among a set of alternatives. So, as a human being, we need to take decision not only in our professional life but also in our personal life. We have to take the right decision for choosing the program as a student, for choosing the right program of our for our career, and then after graduation we have to choose the right job which suits our skills, knowledge and qualification. So every aspect in our life we need to take decision. So this topic will be useful for you not only for your professional as well as for your personal life in taking the right decision. So now we move on to the next topic, decision making process. Recognizing and defining the nature of decision situation, identifying alternatives, choosing the best alternative and putting it into practice. Okay, so first we have to identify what are the choices we have. Okay, that's identifying the alternatives, choosing the best alternative. Choosing means there may be many, but which alternative is suitable for us? Suitable in sense feasible for us. Okay, for our what is that skills, knowledge, for the condition. If it is for the personal, I'm saying, if it is for the professional one or official one, which alternative is suitable for the company in terms of cost, in terms of efficiency, in terms of welfare of the organization or the company. So you have to think from all the perspective and then put that into practice. An effective decision is one that optimizes some sets of factors such as profit, sales, employee welfare, and market share. As a manager in a professional setting, okay, we need to take the decision that will increase, enhance the many factors related to the organization, such as profit, and increases the sale, then employee welfare, and increases our companies or organizational market share. So, as mentioned earlier, the decision of the manager should, enhance or optimizes the organization in several factors. Managers make decision about both the problems and opportunities. So when the managers is doing the day-to-day operation, he or she may face several problems and opportunities also. So in this situation, he or she need to take the right decisions, which, if in case of problem, which he is able to solve the problem in a most effective and efficient manner. Efficient manner means with the least cost, usage of energy and resources. So this is, and if it is opportunity, he has to capitalize the opportunity in such a manner the company is benefited in several factors, in several ways, through several factors. So whether it is a problem or opportunity, so he need to take the right ideal decision, okay, which will reap all these benefits. Then we discuss the next one is steps in decision making process. So here I have given what is the step and then the detail, then example. So if you see the examples, then it will make you to understand the steps. First step, recognizing and defining the decision situation, whether it is a problem or it is an opportunity. The example I have given, a manager is facing a particular problem. Okay, so how his decision is going to, his decision making is going to solve the particular issue in an effective and efficient manner. Okay, the first one, recognizing and defining the decision situation. Here, some stimulus indicates that a decision must be made. Here the manager is having a problem. The stimulus may be a positive or negative here. Example, a plant manager. A plant manager means a factory manager sees that employee turnover has increased by 5%. So, what is employee turnover? Employee turnover is a employee leaving the organization or leaving the job. Uh, as you know, it is common for employees, new employee joining and old employees leaving, but that is common. But like increasing percentage of employee leaving is not very good. Usually organizations having like 3 to 4% or 5% of employees leaving per year is common, but if keep increasing like 20%, 50% of the employees leaving, means it's not very healthy process. So the company will have, what do you say, face problems due to shortage of employees. This will affect the productivity, and then it will give burden to the existing other rest of the staff. So higher percentage of staff leaving is not healthy, but like 2%, 3% of staff is leaving organization is very common. Okay, so here in this example given here is that there is an increase in 5%. Increase means maybe already there may be 10%. Now another 5% means like something like 15% of the employees are leaving, which is not very good. So that is a problem the manager is facing. Second step, identifying the alternatives. Both obvious and creative alternatives are desired. In general, the more important decision, the more alternatives should be considered. Here, he has to take the very important decision, that is how to reduce the turnover. In other words, how to stop the people from leaving the organization. The plan manager can increase wages, increase benefits, or change hiring standards. So he has three options here. One is that he can increase the wages. Then second option is increase the benefits. Benefits means it can be several benefits, like paying some PF is mandatory, paying some other benefits like they can bring their, if it is for women, they taking care of the kids, children, like babysitting the organization. This is one example for benefit. So they can increase, second alternative, they can increase benefits. And then third, change hiring standards. Hiring standard means how they are recruiting the people. That standard which is prevalent in the organization can be changed. So the three alternatives the manager identified. That's a step two. Third one, evaluating alternatives. Each alternative is evaluated to determine its feasibility, its satisfactoriness, and its consequences. So, what happened when the manager identified the alternatives, like we have here in this example given three. One is increasing the wages, and then increasing the benefits, or changing hiring standards. So and now a third step is the manager has to evaluate which one is best and feasible. So increasing benefits may not be feasible, because increasing benefits, it is usually it depends upon the organizational policy. So manager cannot change the policy, so that may not be, first option may not be that much feasible. Increasing wages and changing hiring standard may satisfy all conditions. So the possible one is second and third, that is changing the hiring standards and increasing the wages can be possible. So that is what he has found in the evaluating alternatives step. Then fourth step, selecting the best alternative. Consider all situational factors and choose the alternative that best fits the manager's situation. Now, what the manager is doing, he has in the step three has understood that out of three alternatives, one is not feasible. That is a uh, that is changing the increasing the benefits may not be possible, because it may not be in line with the policy of the organization, or the manager may not have the influence to change the policy, because the policies are determined by the top management. So he had only two options, that is increasing the wages, one option, then what happens, increasing the hiring standard. So in this step he is choosing which one is better. So changing hiring standard will take an extended period of time to cut turnover, so increasing wages. So what happens? Changing hiring standard is possible, but the it will take very long time. That is, it is very time consuming process. So this will not solve the issue immediately. So the best alternative, what he is considering here, is that to increase the wages, then implementing the chosen alternative. The chosen alternative is implemented into the organizational system. Now it's time for the manager to implement the decision what he has taken. The plant manager may need permission from corporate headquarters. The human resource department establishes a new wage system. So informs the corporate headquarters and take permission. So and then the based on that, the HR system establishes a new system, that is an increased wages system. So that is in other words, now the new additional wages, increased wages system is already implemented. Then the last step, following up and evaluating the result. So whenever a decision has been taken and implemented, we need to know how far the decision has given positive impact on the problem we are facing. Okay, sometimes the positive impact may be there, but it may not be like what do you say, a substantial in a substantial manner. It may not have, what do you say, solve the issues to some extent only. Sometimes it may backfire also. So how do we know this? By evaluating the result. So that's the last step, following up and evaluating the result. At some time in the future, the manager should ascertain the extent to which the alternative chosen in step 4 and implemented in step 5 has worked. The plant manager notes that in 6 months' time, turnover has dropped to its previous level. So what happens? The increased 5% of turnover now has been, reduced to the normally what he used to have. So what happens? This happened within 6 months' time. So it, in other words, the decision taken by the manager is very effective. So he was able to control or solve the problem which he faced, that is a 5% increase in the employee turnover. So in other words, that the alternative has found is an effective one, and then he has implemented successfully. So that is how a manager has to take a decision. So these are the steps. If anyone follows this step, they should be able to identify the problem and find out the alternatives and take the right alternative which is feasible, and then implement and solve the issue. So this is the steps. Now we move on to the next one. So types of decisions. So there are different types of decisions which we are going to discuss in this slide. That is, we have two type of, one is a programmed decision and another is a non-programmed decisions. What is a programmed decisions? A programmed decision is that one that is fairly structured decision and recurs with some frequency or both. So what happens? It's fairly structured means it's clearly known, which we do like on day-to-day basis, on regular basis. That decision is called a program decision, and it occurs frequently means almost like everyday situation we face this. Example, starting our car in the morning. So when we start, what might be some starting trouble may be there. So this is like a regular one. So we give some time for the engine to warm up, then we start. So it may take little time or something to start in the first time in the morning. So that is called a programmed decision. Then we have the second type is a non-programmed decision, a decision that is relatively unstructured and occurs much less often than programmed decision. Here, this one is not like very structured, so it means that we don't know like what kind of I mean the program decision this one is. So it may not occur very often. So that is the two these things. It is not very structured. First one, it may not happen like every day. It happens once in a while. So example, choosing a vacation decision destination. Okay, so that is a choosing and vacation destination. Okay, so vacation, we want to go where we want to go. Okay, this one we are not taking every time. So once in a while, like once in a year or every 2 years, we take a decision where we are going for our vacation. So that is a non-programmed decision. Here, the things may not be structured depending upon the location. It is close by to our hometown or very far away, what might be the expenses and all those things. So this is a non-programmed decision. Then we will see what are the decision making conditions. So depending upon decision making condition, we know it is certain and how uncertain it is, and what is the level of ambiguity. Ambiguity means things are clear actually. Ambiguous situation means a clear situation. Unambiguous situation means not very clear situation. Okay, so the decision maker faces conditions of one is a certainty, then risk and uncertainty. So here at the left hand side, certainty, there the level of ambiguity and chances of making bad decision. Okay, so is lower and it moves on to the other side. It becomes more unambiguous, and then what happened? The decision may be a bad decision, because what here they try to say is that if the situation is like very clear, then we take the right decision. Sometimes if the situation we cannot understand very clearly, so what happens, our decision, we end up into making the wrong decision. That's why whenever you face a problem, we have to identify the what is the source of problem. Okay, what is the real problem? If you identify a wrong problem or wrong source of problem, then what happened, we end up in taking a wrong decision. Like example, if someone is sick, the patient goes to the doctor should diagnose the right diseases or right what is a medical condition the patient is facing. If he is very clear with the conditions, then he may find out or diagnose the right issue, and then he will give the right treatment, medicine and treatment. If the what is that, if the symptoms are not very clear, if the symptoms are ambiguous, or I'm not very ambiguous, then what will happen, then the diagnosis may not be very accurate. If the diagnoses are not very accurate, then he may end up in giving a prescribing a wrong medicine or a wrong treatment. So similarly like that, if the manager is I mean is not certain what is the problem or issue he is facing, then what happens, the decision he may take may be a wrong decision, and it more the situation is uncertain, the problem is not very clear, more the chances of the manager taking the wrong decision. So that is what I explained here. So one is certainty, risk, and uncertainty. Level of ambiguity and chances of making bad decision. If it is a lower, what happens? The certainty is lower. Then the situation is what is that? He may take I mean, right decision. Then moderate to some extent. The risk is moderate also. So if the situation is very uncertain, so what happens? He may take a bad decision. I mean, it's higher. The chance of taking bad decision is higher, so the risk is also higher. So decision making under certainty, a condition in which the decision maker knows with reasonable certainty what the alternatives are and what conditions are associated with each alternative. So what happens, the decision maker, when the condition is very certain, so he knows what are the alternatives and what are the conditions, I mean what are the outcomes of each alternative. Like in the previous example we say there is an increase in 5% of turnover, so that's a very clear. And then he has identified three alternatives. One can like increase the benefits and increase the wages and change the hiring standards. So first one, he realized that it is not feasible because as it may be a, I mean, what do you say? It's not feasible because it is pertaining to the policies. He may not influence that. Second one and third one, he found as a good alternative. That is changing the, I mean, hiring standard, and third one, increasing wages. Then after realizing, I mean, after some time, he realized that changing hiring standard may be time consuming. So he choose the best one, which is increasing the wages. So like that here, under certain conditions, the risk is very low and the decision he can take is a better because he know the problem. Decision making under risk, a condition in which availability of each alternative and potential payoff and costs are associated with the risk. Here, a manager identify the what is that a issue. Then what happens? The alternatives. You know, if you take what is the alternative, so what is the risk? He is I mean there is a risk, and he realized that what is the risk if you take particular each and every alternatives. That's the second condition. Third one is decision making under uncertainty, a condition in which decision maker does not know all the alternatives. Here he knows the problem, but he does not know what is the alternative he has to choose. The risk associated with each, and what happens if we choose a alternative, what will happen, the outcome of those choosing the alternative, he does not know the consequences of each alternative. So here the decision may go very bad, okay, or he take higher chances of taking a higher chances of taking a bad decision one. And then when he choose the alternative, I mean what is the outcome of the alternative, he is not also very certain. So it is a like a worst situation is a third one. Okay, so that's all for the decision making. Okay, hope you understand the chapter very well. Thank you.